Where tonight we're on lethal form. Let's meet the death-defying Sandy Toksvig. The death-denying Jason Manford. The death-dealing Bill Bailey. And the drop-dead gorgeous Alan Davis. At least 1 out of 100 has to be complimentary.
That was very kind.
Yeah. Now slay me with your buzzers. Sandy goes. Jason goes. Wow.
Wow.
Bill goes. Alan goes.
Bang, bang, you're dead!
So, before we start, I have to remind you we have in this series a spend a penny round because of L. Exactly. Because L stands for lavatory. One of the answers will involve lavatories in one form or another. All things lavatorial. So if you do spot a lavatory lurking anywhere, play your joker, and if you're right, I'll give you some points. What could be fairer than that? Now, I'm going to hand out some bags. Can you take one and give one to Jason? Sandy there.
Thank you.
And you've got yours, I think, already, haven't you? Now, you should have a bottle with a cork in it, and I want you using the bag and the bottle to get the cork out of the bottle. You can't break the bottle, obviously.
Are these are the ones we use when we go dog walking?
Yes, they are. They're poop stupid ones.
They're poop
Exactly.
are they?
Yeah, but they haven't been used, I promise you.
Obviously, I was going to use the...
The people near me have started... Does this happen near anyone else? They pick it up, put it in the bag, and then hang it on the tree. Does that happen anywhere else? Leave it hanging on a tree.
I think...
Decoration.
It's like a really shit Christmas tree, literally.
Yeah.
I think that's a Salford thing, Jason.
I think so.
Sandy's looking promising. That's definitely the right idea, is to blow down the bag, but try, I think you need a little bit more down the bottle. More,
right.
as much
Oh,
of it
I
as you
see.
get. You might use your pen to push, as long as you
Oh,
don't
that's a good
tear
idea.
the bag.
Oh, it's exciting. I don't know what I'm doing.
No.
All right, that's my catchphrase.
I'm just copying what
Seems to be
Sandy's doing.
Sandy. Oh, Sandy, yeah. Line it up. If you can line it up, it's going to go, I think. If you can, it's so close. Oh. Look, we'll show you. One of our researchers, Zara, she managed to do it, and we shot her doing it, so have a look.
Shot her.
Watch. There she goes.
If you succeed, we will have to shoot you.
There she goes. And actually just blown up it. A little bit. There he goes. There. Well done, Zara. Now. Oh, nearly.
Oh, nearly.
You didn't blow enough to provide enough suction. That's the key.
Oh,
is
you
it?
have
Get the bag.
Blow the bag. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Blow the bag. Blow the bag.
Blow the bag. We used to blow the
Get
bag.
it out. We'll get it out, Mr. Mannering. We'll blow the bag. Don't worry, Mr. Mannering.
It's there.
You've got it.
Don't panic. We'll blow the bag, sir.
See if you can talk.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. We don't want to stretch the... I think it's there. You've got it.
Yes!
Brilliant. No, you haven't got the pressure there. OK, pop and water. Very much one way to do it.
It can't be done.
No. But what's really interesting about this is how will this save possibly millions of lives, this trick?
It's not to do with the stent thing, is it? Isn't when they blow up a little balloon?
No, it's not. It's
People getting corks trapped.
It's not really going to save that many lives. It might save a lot of distress
Yes,
to
that's
people
what I mean.
who want a cork out of a bottle, but
Is
it's
it-
not really.
Is it inside
something
the
else?
penis? Can we just clear that up?
No, it isn't.
Is it up the bum hole?
No. In the ear. People,
ear hole?
people sticking corks in their ear.
No.
Is it a
This-
common condition?
It is, in the third world, especially a very common condition, and one that causes millions of deaths a year. and that's childbirth fatalities because of breech births and being stuck and so on. And it took an Argentinian mechanic who saw a video clip of the trick. His name was Jorge Odon, and he thought, that
His
would be
name
really
was
good.
Jorge.
No, Jorge. It was called Jorge.
Nice name, amazing.
George in Spanish.
Yeah, okay,
I like
sorry,
that. His name was Corky. Corky Odon. And he thought that would work on babies. There's already a sucker is used.
Yes, but I just want to be clear. So you're having trouble giving birth, and a mechanic comes along with a plastic bag, pushes it in, and then goes, "I'm just going to blow." That's pretty much...
Don't worry, I've seen a video.
It's exactly what
happened. See it on YouTube. See it on... All right, don't worry about it.
And the obstetrician he showed it to thought that he was on some hidden camera show and that it was a trick and that he was going to be made an idiot of. But he realised that it was a fantastic idea. Because before then, do you know the device that is used to try and pull babies out?
Or the forceps.
Well, the forceps is the really old one,
It's
but
like a
the more
plunger.
common one now is the one on the right.
It's a sort of a sucker thing.
It is a
isn't
sucker, but it has a particular name. Ventouse. What's the other one being shouted?
Kiwi.
You call it a kiwi?
Yeah.
Oh.
Student midwife.
Oh, really? Well, then we bow to your superior knowledge. Midwifery is a good thing. Midwifery, it sounds a bit like a sort of not very noxious fart, doesn't it? Midwifery. Sorry.
Can I just say, Stephen, you were up until then being so sensitive.
Yeah.
Your job sounds like a fart.
Odon's method inserts a plastic bag, just as you said, into the birth canal, under the baby's chin. Air is then pumped in, inflating the bag gently around the baby's head. No danger of suffocation. Why is that?
Because they're not breathing yet.
Because babies don't breathe in the womb, exactly.
Yes.
The baby is then safely pulled out without the damage of bleeding forceps, and we can see that. Not in real life, I mean.
All right, yeah.
There you go, and that's the suction power is on a little calibrated thing, you see. And you, again, take it away, and it's exactly the same principle.
Inconceivable.
Thank you. I think you've rather misunderstood the role of audience intervention here.
The way that the device goes around the baby is very, very similar to the way the chameleon gets its prey.
It's prey, yes.
Because the tongue is actually, it subsumes the prey and goes around it, and then perhaps you could train a chameleon.
To give
Just hold one up to the appropriate area.
I feel sorry for this woman who's already said no to the engineer, and then Bill Bailey turns up. What about the chameleon?
Well, she might not be able to see the chameleon if he's been hanging around for a
That's
while.
true, yes. Well, that would take the stress out of it. It just looks like your arm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what's this? It's just a patterned shirt.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then it runs up a tree with it.
Yeah.
It's raised as a chameleon.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Everything you said about this, why a mechanic... As Dr. Merialdi of the World Health Organization said, with 5.6 million babies a year dying, he said, for many years, almost centuries, nothing has advanced in medical science in terms of the delivery of babies, which is a natural process, but it is also a mechanical process. So perhaps it's not surprising that it's a mechanic who saw a way through to easing it. And
I love it because it's so simple.
it is so simple. It's kind of palm smacking, isn't it? A lot of doctors and obstetricians would have thought, wow. One of the great advantages, of course, is that throughout the Third World, midwives and nurses can use it without the presence of a doctor. It's incredibly simple to learn the
cheap
technique
as
and
well.
very, very cheap, as long as you sterilise everything, obviously, which you would anyway. So, good news.
Well
about
done,
trick.
Corky.
A car mechanic there, yes, from Argentina, will save millions of lives with the cork in the bottle trick. Suggests some lethal uses for a laptop.
Oh, some
Smart
lethal...
bombs, guiding smart bombs.
Yeah.
Hitting people over the head.
Damn it, Chloe. Yeah.
That was like he was in the room.
Thank you. Just happened to have been working with him, that's all. Please.
Is he nice? Please tell me his name.
He's an incredibly nice guy. He really is. Everyone adores him on the set. Kiefer, this is. Kiefer. Yeah.
Kiefer?
Kiefer.
Kiefer, yeah.
Oh, Kiefer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Anyway, he's always on laptops.
I don't know what you're talking
My
about.
favourite when he talks
Oh,
about
24. Oh.
when he talks about parabolics. That was where are the parabolics? I'm like, have you seen parabolics? That's what it sounds like. Parabolic.
Is it still going now, 24?
Yes. I mean, I played the British Prime Minister.
What kind of Prime Minister were you?
Well, it was non-specified in terms of party.
But were you very
like
sage?
almost every Prime Minister we've had for the last
Is it really over-the-top London, though? Is it like, Chloe, I forgot my Oyster card!
It is all shot
I'm
in
at
London.
Spinningfield!
They're engineering works. I'm on a bus replacement service. Follow me on the satellite. The driver hasn't got a clue where he's going. What's the best way from Kensal Rise to Laverick Grove? You can't use the Harrow Road!
I've forgotten what the question was.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, lethal uses for
All right,
a
so hitting
laptop.
people over the head.
You can leave it on the rear parcel shelf of a car, and you stop too quickly. Then,
Yeah.
you know. I know this because I went to one of those, speed awareness courses, and this is ex-copper, and he went, yeah, he goes, he was trying to scare everyone, and he went, yeah, he goes, yeah, this lady driver had a laptop computer on the back.
Mel Smith was in
It was. Yeah. He talked like that. He had a laptop computer on the back.
It's very Mel Smith.
On the back shelf, and she stopped too quickly, took her head clean off. Took her head clean off, like a knife through butter. And there was a dear old lady next to me who'd been caught doing 31 miles an hour in a built-up
On
area.
a tiny little scooter thing.
On a mobile. I can't stop!
You'll have to go to a work.
Yeah. She went this way, and she grabbed my hand and went, oh, my God! Like that. And, of course, I can't imagine it.
No, actually, we're in Australia, and it's a program that's written on a
A
computer.
virus.
It's nothing to do with the Wi-Fi, is it? Is that... Do they
No,
not?
no, it's a specific program written by a specific person in order to help someone do something that will end their lives.
Is it some euthanasia
It's a
thing?
euthanasia program, yes. There's an Australian doctor called Dr. Death, obviously, as they always are, and he's rigged up this injection system to a laptop, and you have to answer 3 questions. You have to be sane and smart enough to answer the 3 questions, yes, positively.
Do you know what they are?
Yes, I have them for you.
OK.
1. Are you aware that if you go ahead to the last screen and press the yes button, you will be given a lethal dose of medications and die?
So they're not difficult questions.
Also,
I thought it was going to be things like...
They are.
I
What
scroll
year
through-
was the
I
Battle
scroll-
of Cressy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I scroll through a lot of these and just press accept. Yeah. Terms and conditions. I've read them.
Terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. The second one is, are you certain you understand that if you proceed and press the yes button on the next screen, that you will die?
That's just very clear.
Yeah.
So you
Then-
press
then
yes
it say-
again. Yes.
Are
On
you
the
sure?
third screen,
You sure? Come on now.
in 15 seconds,
Have you seen the word
you
die?
will be given a lethal injection. Press yes to proceed. It's that simple.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah.
And where'd you get it? Amazon?
No. But
I mean, I suppose it's that if you made the decision, then it's finding the. I found a very odd. I didn't know this was a rule recently. I always get headaches when I'm on tour, so I thought, well, I may as well just stock up on paracetamol because I go for a couple of nights. So I tried to buy about 48 packets of paracetamol.
No.
There they are.
That'll kill you.
Well, yeah, obviously I wasn't going to take them all at once, but obviously there's a
They
rule.
don't know that.
You're only allowed to. But I just thought to myself, that's saving no one, is it? No one's got to that point and gone, oh, can I not? Oh, I'll stay alive then, thank you very much.
I go into a newsagent's and order a bottle of vodka and they give me a quarter one now. There's bad things about me.
Although there was a moment when the woman embarrassed me in front of a queue of people where she said, I can't sell you that many paracetamol. And I went, oh, why? Why is that? She said, it's in case you kill yourself. She said those words to me. And this is my panic. I went, what? But there's a load of freezer stuff in there. Like, that was my actual... That was the logic, Fucking been trolley there's some long life milk. Why am I going? Why would I go?
Do you think come back? Do you think I'd waste that?
There's some Findus crispy pancakes I'm looking forward to.
There's a Solero in there. I've got so much to live for.
You want to look into that headache thing, it'll be caffeine related, I expect.
You want to flush your system
I'll do that.
with vodka?
Yeah.
I have to to say, the only time I've had morphine was in Copenhagen. I had kidney stones and they gave me morphine.
I should think they would. It's the most painful thing.
And my partner said it was so embarrassing because I was just lying there going, I'm filled with honey.
We had Jeremy Clarkson on, and he was talking about kidney stones, said the most painful thing a human being could have. And someone said, childbirth, I think you'll find. And he said, do we have anyone in the audience who's given birth to a child and had kidney stones? And there was one person.
Of course there is.
And he said, which was the most painful? And she said, kidney stones.
Did they zap them with something sonic or something?
They do now.
I was off my head. I have no idea what they did.
Yeah. I think they do. They dissolve them and then you pee them out.
I think
What you don't want is someone giving it... Come here, come here. Bend over.
I just get this chameleon, just line up your entrance.
Well, what about suicide booths? Where do they exist? Have you ever seen or heard of them? Soylent Green, a Harry Harrison novel that was a great movie. There are suicide booths there, used by Matt Groening in Futurama, rather wonderfully.
So would you just pop in and kill yourself?
Yeah, there are 3 modes of death in Futurama: quick and painless, slow and horrible, and clumsy bludgeoning.
So when you just put a, you know,
Yeah.
50p in or something.
That's the idea in science fiction, that people will want to do that. Yeah, euthanasia becomes not just a, a right, but a sort of...
Bit of a laugh.
Fuck it,
Yeah.
I like a photo booth, though.
Yes. They've got that retro, Instagram type thing,
We've sort of gone revert because the photo is getting so perfect. We've now gone to a point where we're going, let's get Instagram and make it a bit worse. I'm going to do an app where you just put like your dad's thumb in the top corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember this?
They used to say if you look like your passport photograph, you're probably not well enough to travel.
It's a very good theory, I like that.
The very first job I ever applied for on television, it said you had to send in your CV and your photograph. And traditionally in show business, it's a sort of an 8x10, it used to be an 8x10, rather glossy thing. Right. I didn't know that. I went to Victoria Station and the stool was stuck down low. So honestly, I sent in a photograph of the top part of my head, and they thought it was a joke, so I got the job.
Wow. Well, there was this... there was an actor's director, which is no longer used, but called Spotlight, in which you had to give your photograph. And I remember Barry Humphries had a wonderful one with just a picture of him like that. Not as Dame Edna, but it just said, leather and denim rolls preferred.
I used to try and sort of put things in to see if they'd print them, just sort of sheer devilment, like things that can hover, It's magnetic, I'm okay round chickens, See, they never printed them. They just probably just silly man.
Will hover on demand.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, this happy little fellow is about to kill himself. How? You recognise that?
He's about to...
And he's about to kill himself.
He is, by doing something which nature impels him to do, which is a suicidal thing to do.
Fling himself off a cliff. Throwing himself off a cliff. I thought, well, why not?
Yeah.
We'll get that one out of the way.
We thought it might be a lemming, and anyway, lemmings don't, of course. But
no, they don't.
No, it's not a lemming. It's in fact not a rodent.
Is it not?
Is it a marsupial? Is it a marsupial?
It is a marsupial, yes. It's a bit of a convergent. How do you do that? It's a marsupial, and it's called an antechinus.
Antechinus? Well, what are the natural things? It's either going to eat something, or it's going to drink something.
What do animals live to do? They live to eat in order to survive long enough to procreate, to pass on their genes.
So is there some naughty sex thing?
It's about to have sex, and that is, for it, suicide. They go on an extraordinary shagging spree. I mean, it is quite unbelievable. I have to give you the details because they're pretty amazing. It's semilparous, which means it only does it once. And it's about 12 hours on the job with one female before moving on to the next. Wow. Doesn't eat or sleep, just keeps going in a testosterone-driven frenzy.
Oh, never mind about him, that poor female.
Well, that's on the next one.
12 hours?
Yeah.
She must be chafed.
To get the necessary energy, the males' bodies strip themselves of all their vital proteins and suppress their immune systems. By the end of the fortnight, they're physiologically exhausted, bald, gangrenous, ravaged by stress and infection, and keel over and die.
Wow.
Russell Brand, take note. It's pretty grim.
God.
It sounds like Henry VIII at the end of his life, doesn't
It does, somewhat. It is, you bet.
Does this happen only once then?
Yes, semel parus once is
So they're
semel is
dead
once.
before the children arrive,
Very much so, and that some people think may be the reason. that
just
in
to
fact,
get out of childcare.
Yeah. Thought of it.
Or if you give it a better gloss, it's in order
Food.
to leave more food for their
Yeah.
children.
So 12 hours and then another 12
Yeah,
hours?
yeah. This lasts for a fortnight apparently. Yeah.
Wow.
2-week mating season.
There's somebody in the audience remembering a Spanish holiday. Magaluf, 1982. Oh, that was a party.
But they aren't the only marsupials with a suicidal sex drive. There's also marsupial cats, which have a wonderful name. Very good for Scrabble. Quoll.
Quoll?
Quoll.
quoll.
Very good Scrabble word. There's a little quoll. And
These are all Australian.
the female northerns, yes, are subjected by males to bouts of copulation. Put here, that can last 24 hours with plenty of biting and screeching. They soon get their own back, though. The postcoital male lose weight, become anemic, their scrotums shrink, their fur falls out, and they get infested with lice. Within a week or two, they die like their mousy cousins, martyrs to their genes.
Wow, horrible.
It's grim, isn't it?
I mean, the thing is, even if
grim down
that
south.
was in humans, I think most men would go, may as
Worth
well. Like, I'm here now.
It's worth it.
What a day.
And all the females are sitting around and going, don't worry, they'll be gone in a minute.
I presume they don't know it's going to happen to them.
Well, no, they presumably don't. They'd have no sense of the impending.
There's no 3 questions. Would you have
Because they
sex?
never knew their father.
You will die. Press yes. Are you sure you want sex? Yes. Definitely. Oh, yes.
There's a picture of somebody who's had sex.
Their father, unfortunately, isn't there to tell them. By definition.
So they're railroaded into this
just programmed.
self-destructive shagging frenzy.
Programmed. Deeply programmed. Now, if you had to fight a duel, which weapon would you want your opponent to choose? A, hot air balloon, would that please you? B, a billiard ball? C, a sword? Or D, a sausage?
Sausages are fairly non-lethal.
You'd
See, I
say
would
sausage?
think you could get terrible food poisoning
Yeah,
from the
that's what
sausage.
Yeah, but
Or if you had them in a string of sausages.
yeah.
I don't know how you'd use the hot air balloon as an actual weapon unless you land on somebody. I don't know how you...
Well, the rules were that if you challenge someone to a duel, the person you challenge can choose the weapon and the place. So if you choose a balloon,
you'd
you're
be in the
choosing...
balloon.
They can choose a gun and a balloon.
Right.
Which is, you can pretty much work out what could therefore happen.
Yeah.
And you would draw straws as to who shoots first. If the distances, and they're not very good shots, the first one could miss.
It'd be a bit annoying if you've chosen guns and balloons and then got the short straw.
Yes.
And he got to shoot first. You'd be like, what's the point?
Yes. The balloon is not a small target. Depends how far away it was, of course. But, well, we do have history on our side, so we can tell a story about the sausage. There was a scientist, a very eminent